Yo, what's up? Hey guys. Mic test, mic check. Alright, we are at downtown Oklahoma City where we left off on Tuesday, right? It's Thursday already. Okay, cool. I did just purchase the AccuSim Comanche. I don't know if anybody here is going to be flying it today, but I will not because it's a little scary to fly it for the first time. Probably try it out tonight after the stream. But it is now on the marketplace, as you guys pointed out on Discord, so thanks for the heads up. Today we don't have any grass strips, so you can fly something a little faster. I'm going to fly the M500 again, so something faster is probably a good idea. We have a couple legs that are 130 miles long. So I think some autopilot might be in our future today. We'll see how it goes. And the terrain is going to start rising. So we're going from 2,500 probably to 6,000 or so by the end of the stream today. We'll see how far we get. And there was also an update for the FSR 500, which I'm flying, the Piper M500. I have no idea what the updates were. Oh yeah, so planes for today, you are not going to need a STOL or a grass-friendly plane today, so we have no grass runways. Here is our shortest runway. We may actually need to just use the closed runway because it's like twice the length. Like I don't think the M500 is going to do well with like 1,700 feet, so I'll probably use the closed runway. Don't tell the FAA. So yeah, I think today you could pull out your like Vision Jets, your TBMs, your M500s. Probably anything faster than a TBM is probably too much for today. But you know, if you want to pull something out faster, you can. You'll just be faster than the rest of us, so it's up to you guys. All right, I'm gonna take a quick look around inside here. Yes, it's raining. I set my time of day to sunrise, but I kept the weather live. And I want to see if I notice anything while I'm trying to do a quick startup here. But I am curious if there's anything new in the FSR 500. What's up, Ricky? We're starting at 2 Delta Tango. 2DT is the start. It's pinned in the chat as well. And I'll be trying to provide which airports we're stopping at along the way. So our first one is to the north. We're going to... So we're actually going to, there's a Cessna aircraft field, followed by the Beech Factory field. Beech spelled B-E-E-C-H. So I think it's having us fly north to 2, I assume these are iconic airports when it comes to manufacturing Cessnas and Beech aircraft. So it's having us go there first. They're very close together, though, as we can see in a second on the map here. They're like right next to each other, so we can do like a touch and go or just fly over both of them. Where are they? Here they are. They're right next to each other, right up here. They're right next to McConnell Air Force Base in Kansas, so yeah, these two right next to each other. We're not going to take off from one and land at the other. They're only 3 miles apart. So our first waypoint is KCEA. What's up, Based? Oh yeah, I forgot to say hi to you guys. What am I thinking? What's up, Mike? React, Bella, Jewel, Sierra Delta, what's up? And Raccoon, again. Alright, let me get this thing started up. I do see myself using a little bit of autopilot today. We'll see how it goes. Actually, I'm just going to use the auto-completes. Engine startup with battery. Some of these things I have to do manually up here. Fuel pump to manual and ignition to manual. Hey, Spatula. Yo. Alright, waiting for the engine to be stable. NG up to 63. It's at 33, 34. I have no idea. I did some Googling trying to figure out what was going on. with the update that I got for this today. But the release notes in Microsoft Flight Simulator for the FSR 500, all it said was the release notes from 2 weeks ago. So it said like released December 1st. So it didn't say anything about what was released today. All right, and it's waiting for 1200 RPM on the prop to be all nice and warmed up for us. All right, fuel pump switch back to auto up here, and then ignition goes off. All right, page complete. Let me move my fuel condition really fast. All right, nice. And let's get the avionics and stuff on as well. Wait for Ricky. Well, if you're not ready in time, Ricky, then you can always load in at any airport on our route, or you can use time acceleration to catch up to us. There are a lot of options. All right, let me turn on. It looks like it reset some things here, so let me turn on my wind options. I'm gonna go to map and turn on my inset map. Relative terrain, next route, and traffic. All right, nice. And over here, I like no detail and no terrain, and menu north up. All right, there we go. All right, taxi light needs to go on up here. Nav light is on already. Stall warning test going on. Stall. What's up, Jonas? You're gonna floor it in this Cicada TB21. What's the Cicada TB21? I don't know every plane. I don't know most planes, to be honest. I'm gonna look it up. What's the TB21? Oh, the Trinidad. Oh, nice. Is that? I haven't seen that in Microsoft Flight Sim. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Nice. It's a Just Flight by Lionheart Creations. Oh, look at the panel in that thing. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Look at this. Looks like it could be almost like made out of styrofoam or something, the way they like jut all the way out like that. All right, parking brake release. I'm not going to do that. I'll do it just for a second to get through the checklist. All right, I'm going to skip the runoff, do before takeoff. Fuel pump switch up to manual. I'll do that myself, actually. Pitot heat switch on. All right, nice. Where are we flying tonight? So we're going north first. We're going to pass by Cessna and Beach airports. I guess one's called the Cessna Aircraft Field, and then the Beach Factory Airport. So our first waypoint is KCEA. That's Charlie Echo Alpha. We're going to go up there, and then we make our way to the west. We go, let's see, the airports today are Great Bend, Dodge City, Lamar Municipal. So we're heading into Colorado to the west and potentially ending in Denver. I think Denver might be a little ambitious. It's pretty far, but we'll see how we do. But we're making our way to the west into the rising terrain, and we'll probably be done before Denver. But we'll see how fast we go. We're in slightly faster planes today, hopefully. All right, I think I'm all set here. Let me check my rudder trim. 2 degrees right. I'm gonna put flaps at 10. I actually don't know the flap setting in this. Before takeoff, I don't think it mentions. Okay, it says between 0 and 20. I like 1 notch of flaps. That's easy to remember. And then just a quick check through over here. I just want to see if they've added anything here. Navigraph. So all the statics look the same. Looks like the same stuff here. I'm just trying to see if anything jumps out at me in the settings here. Looks like everything's the same. I have wear and tear turned on for everything. Persist last fuel and payload quantity. Speaking of fuel, should go up and top off the tanks for today. all the way up. All right, I actually don't have anything in here for from SimBrief, so no flight plan there. Shorts or King Air? Shorts. How fast does a shorts cruise actually? I bought it. I flew it like one time. It's a little intimidating, but I'm gonna be flying it more for sure. I just need to be. I'm just flying things I'm comfortable with. All right, so first waypoint, KCEA, the Cessna Aircraft Field. And let me see if we can see a windsock here. If you have live weather on, then you'll see it's. Oh, there's a windsock right there. So it looks like it's pointed towards us over here. Which runway is this right in front of us? I'm gonna take the closed runway. Looks like it's 3-2. Gonna take the closed runway just because the short runway is gonna make it so we have to take like planes that can take off in shorter runway length. And then the rest of the... Oh, is there a back taxi here? Anyway, this is a closed runway, but we're gonna just take it. I'm gonna take it because I don't think I can take off in 1,700 feet. We're breaking the law here. If you can take off in 1,700 feet or so runway length, then by all means take the legit open runway. Yeah, if we took aircraft short enough for that runway, then we would need to change them out because these legs coming up are pretty long. We got our first leg right now is actually 133 miles, so. The first waypoint is, I'll type it in chat too, KCEA. So that's Kilo Charlie Echo Alpha. Charlie Echo Alpha. All right, let me get the fuel pumps and ignition on manual. Flaps are set. Pitch trim, I'm just gonna move it a little bit towards nose up. And we got 10 degrees of flaps and 2.2 rudder trim to the right, just barely in that little green. And our safe altitude for this leg is 2,500 feet. I'll just bug that in my autopilot here. If you guys want to use autopilot, go ahead and set 2,500 feet in your selected altitude. Turn on heading mode, bounding where your autopilot is. Hit heading mode and then right click or push your heading knob to sync it straight ahead. And then choose your climb. I like to use flight level change. And then use nose up and nose down to set it to whatever your VY speed is over here. That's just a good starting point. Sometimes you want to do higher than your VY speed. But I'll just set mine to my VY speed. And then if you want, you could also hit nav mode on the ground to have nav mode ready to go. We just have to get onto course first before it can take over. All right, how are we looking? Most of us are here. Oh my God. Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? All right, is everybody ready? Okay, yes, we're all ready. Everybody who's taking off and a little late, you can use whatever means necessary to catch up, but the train is leaving the station. All right, let's go. I'm gonna watch my torque, pull it back when it's in the red. All right, yeah, this is runway 16. And once we take off, we're gonna want to make a left-hand turn all the way around until we're northbound. Was definitely not going to take off from that other short runway in this, especially with full fuel. All right, gear is coming up. 110 knots, flaps up. Pulling out some of my rudder trim. All right, gear is all the way up. All right, make my left-hand turn all the way around. We probably could just make a right-hand turn. Left is a little shorter, actually. Yeah, left is a little shorter, it looks like. All right, I'm gonna stop myself here at 2,500 feet. Because we want to fly very low and just take in all the sights, you know? And plus we have a bunch of weather here. Okay. I didn't check the weather or anything, of course. That would be too realistic. We just got to be on our way. Hey, Soul, what's up? Flying the M500, the FS Reborn. It's called the FSR 500, but is very, very similar to a Piper M500. It's a single engine turboprop, so it's really similar to like the TBM 850 and 930 with a glass cockpit, and it's got a bunch of realism things, bunch of failures, realism settings, passenger comfort settings. It is pretty awesome. Hey, this is like kind of an IFR day, it looks like. Still gonna try to keep it low though. All right, there's Oklahoma City.
Airspeed, 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 airspeed.
This is why we have engine stress damage turned off. Dude, I forgot how fast this thing is. There's downtown Oklahoma City right there. I have never been. I mistook last stream. I said I had been once to Oklahoma, and then I said because I went to Little Rock. That was embarrassing. All right, I'm gonna turn autopilot on this time, and I'm gonna bring my rudder trim back out here. It's at 1 degree. I'm gonna look at my slip skid indicator right here. Make sure it gets back to center. There we go. One big triangle. Weather clears up. Yeah, we're not missing much. Oh, I'm not missing much in Oklahoma. Weather clears up further ahead. Nice. We're breaking our VFR rule here, but it's fine. The weather makes it more fun anyway. All right, and altimeter, if you guys haven't set it, altimeter setting right now, 3028. And it looks like I have my ignition on still. Put these back both to auto. Actually, I think ignition goes to off. Let me double check the checklist. It's been a minute. I believe it is auto and off. Oh, both to auto. I'm wrong. There we go. Auto and auto. Ice protection as required. Speaking of ice protection, outside air temperature is 9 degrees. So pitot heat is a good idea. Go ahead and that's already on. All right, it's got pitot and stall heat on. But stall heat, I don't think can be used until we're closer to 0. Oh man, the TBMs are just dusting me. Look at this. So is the King Air. All the TBMs up front, TBM 930s and 850s. There's another React in his 850 just dusting everyone. I also pulled back a lot of my throttle. I was overspeeding, so let me pull that back in. Or push that back in. Get the power back up. We got a PyRep from up ahead that says the PyRep from chat says the weather clears up ahead. So. Hey Discovery, what's up? This is the Piper M500. It's by FS Reborn. And it's in the marketplace. It's on Xbox and PC. It's awesome. I would say this is like, for G1000 planes, this is my number one. This is my favorite. Oh, rain again. We could try to climb over these clouds if we want. We got a 130 nautical mile leg. Let's see how much. I don't have distance remaining here, so let me put that up on the. Actually, I can just see it up here. 127 nautical. 121 miles remaining, actually. Oh my God, this thing is so easy. It's so easy to overspeed this when you're at low altitude. All right, watching that little magenta airspeed trend. It's gone now. There we go, 180. I think we hear this song too much. I'm gonna unfavorite it. It's been removed from the playlist, sorry. Sorry, song. Need to shift it more towards some synthwave sounding stuff. Oh, Ricky's got a rainbow. Oh, do I have a rainbow? Doesn't look like I have one. We're all gonna be on different time of day settings probably, so mattering where your sun is for you. And this, oh, estimated time 35 minutes. Is it really gonna take us that long? 118 nautical miles. Maybe we should climb for this. And it's really about, let's see, we have a 12 knot tailwind. Yeah, this is a long leg, 117 nautical miles, so try to keep it pinned as high to our max speed as I can. Maybe we did need to bring out the jets today. All right, let's see what kind of planes we have going. Oh, nice. Turk's in the DA-62. What's up, Turk? It looks like Mike's in the M500. What do we got? A couple more DA-62s. We got John in DA-62. And a bunch of TBMs. I see Alex and Crispy in TBMs. Bella's in a Tomcat, which I don't have yet. I may pick it up when it's on sale. Poning is in a PC-12. Got a couple SR-22s. Yeah, the SR-22 probably keeps up pretty well too, right? With the TBMs and with the M500. I think Hunterson's in the... what is it called? Is it the Velocity? Not the Velocity. What is the Vertigo? The Vertigo. Alright, how's our time looking? 113. 34 minutes. This is a long leg. Let me see if we got METAR available here in Guthrie. Okay, it says clouds are overcast at 11,000. So if we want, we could go up to like, we got a ways to go. I think we should climb up above the clouds. Get some nice cloud views. We'll go IFR for this one. Maybe we can get our speed up a little bit. See how our climb does in this. So, well, the update definitely didn't add acceleration to our selected altitude knob. Still going 100 feet at a time. That's the hardest part about climbing in this, is just how long it takes to turn the altitude selection knob. Alright, we're going a little eastbound, I guess, so let's do 13,000. I'm gonna go up to 13,500. Flight level change. And max the throttle out. Let's get above these clouds. See if we can get our ground speed even higher. Ground speed's at 192 right now. And that knob is crispy. Alright, then I'm gonna put in a little bit of right rudder trim. Something to do while you climb with this guy. Autopilot is going off for some reason. Let me put it back on. That was weird. Alright, climbing through all this. I'm going to get the pitot and stall heat on just in case. It's going to get colder. We're at 7 degrees right now. Climb, climb! And let me double check the climb speed here. I think we can... Let's see. Cruise climb, 140 knots to 20,000 feet. If we're going higher than that, I think it's a faster climb speed. Oh no, 125 if we're going above. So 140 for cruise climb up to 20,000 feet. Which is what I put in. Nice. I know this is a little bit cheating, but you know, we're having a little bit of an IFR day today. Flub Dan is in the Halo Pelican. I love to see it personally. Super said, how do I get nav off armed in the TBM? If you're trying to get nav mode, if it's white, if you have GPS in white, you need to go closer to the intended course, and then it'll let you arm it. Good to get some altitude. Yeah, so there's not too much to look at when we're in this either. So yeah, let's get above these clouds. We'll see how accurate that METAR was to the east, but hopefully 13.5 puts us above these clouds. And then we can plan our descent. I get to talk about VNAV a little bit. So speaking of which, let me take a look at the airport elevation of the first airport we're going by. We can at least get down there and take a look at the Cessna airfield and the Beach Factory airfield. So these are at 1,300 feet. So if I want to add 1,000 or 1,500 feet to that, 2,900 feet or so. So let's call it 3,000 feet. So I'm going to go to my flight plan. If you're running a G1000, you can do this. I'm going to go to the airport that I want to be, or any waypoint that I want to be a certain altitude at. Turn on the FMS knob down here in teal. Or actually, it'll flash magenta if it happens to be on the current waypoint. And use the big knob to bring it over to the altitude. Here we can define, using the inner and outer knobs, define the altitude we want to be at that waypoint, and then hit enter. And this designates it as a VNAV altitude. So now we get our VNAV profile. And we'll also get a little top of descent up here, right there. 24 minutes, we should start our descent. It gives us a 3-degree angle of descent. You can override that if you want, but that's kind of a standard. And then versus our target, this is going to show us what our rate of descent needs to be. It'll get more accurate as we get closer. But yeah, about 1,000 feet per minute. And that'll take us down from our current altitude to reach 3,000 feet altitude as we're crossing that waypoint. So all we have to do is, once we're in cruise, we'll just, when we're ready to prep for our descent, all we have to do is turn our selected altitude down to where we want to allow autopilot to descend to. So in this case, it'll be 3,000 feet. And then all we have to do is press VNAV right here on our autopilot. And you can do that in any plane that has the G1000 and has a VNAV button on the autopilot. It's the best thing ever. All right, we are still climbing here. I'm passing 10,000 feet. Let's update the altimeter. 3029er on our altimeters. Oh, your HSI was on VOR. Got it. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, if you're trying to follow a GPS flight plan, at least in the G1000, you'll see magenta lines. Same with the 530 and 430. You'll see magenta lines. And over here, if you have green needles instead of magenta needles, you know you need to hit the CDI button down here to change the nav source from a nav radio to your GPS. But in something like the TBM 850, you don't have digital HSI. In that one, there's just I believe is there a switch in that one, or I think it might be a button. Actually, I think you do have a digital HSI in the 850, right? I think it does show green and magenta on the 850. It's like a G5 looking kind of instrument. It is a button on the HSI. Yeah, it's been a bit since I've flown the 850. Yeah, I think it has. They basically look like Garmin G5s. But one for the attitude indicator and one for the compass, one for the HSI. All right. Oh, yep. Looks like we're about to get out of the soup here. We're at 12,200. We got 1,000 feet to go. Might need to go a little bit higher. How would you do VNAV on the 850? I believe the GTN 750 supports it. So you would need to use that. And then I'm also not 100% sure on which autopilot is in that. But if your autopilot doesn't have a VNAV button, then you're not going to use it. You're just going to have to plan your descent like a normal person, which is take some mental math. All right, we're icing up here. Let's get the ice protection on. If you guys don't have ice protection, I apologize. All right, windshield to defog, surface and prop heat, surface anti-ice. No VNAV in the 850. It doesn't the 850 let you use the GTN 750? Oh, Dave says the 750 doesn't have a proper VNAV, just a VNAV calculator. So then sounds similar to like the GNS 530, GNS 430. Yeah, the G1000 is very spoiling. Very, very much. All right, let's try the windshield anti-ice now. Watch that ice disappear, hopefully. Some planes, especially the Asobo ones, the ones that have the anti-ice, windshield anti-ice, when you turn it on, usually it'll just delete the ice instantly. But in this plane, it looks like looks like we're gonna need to go another like 2,000 up. I'm gonna go up to 15,500 now. So 15,500 in selected altitude, flight level change, and then give it that 140 target airspeed again. So we gained about 60 knots ground speed already getting up this high. I think mostly thanks to this 34 knot tailwind we have. React says I'm debating either the Kodiak with a G1000 or the Comanche. Trying to think which one I would pick. I think the Comanche has a 430 in it, right? If you already have another turboprop that has, you know, or the FSR. Yeah, I feel like it just really matters on if you want a new turboprop or if you want something a little... Wait, the Comanche's pretty fast, right? I really don't know anything about the Comanche either. I think it's a bit slower than the M500. I think its cruise speed is more like 160 or 170, something like that. Let me take a look. Comanche 250. Not true. Yeah, cruise around 155 according to Google. So yeah, it's a lot slower than something like the turboprops. Yeah, I feel like you should get the Comanche if you want like something similar to like what, like a Warrior, an Archer, 172. Something way more GA, smaller, slower, study level GA, right? Probably like a great 172 replacement. Love the turbo arrow. Yeah, I think like over time the Kodiak has not been... The Kodiak's really good if you want short field takeoff and landing, right? But if you don't need that, I would go for the FSR or the TBM 850. But I feel like, yeah, if you want good access to really small airstrips, then the Kodiak's a great replacement for the Grand Caravan. But I also really love the analog Caravan. So, I mean, what's great is you have so many choices. You can't go wrong with any of those planes. Grand Caravan, the stock one is great. The Black Square 208 is great. The Kodiak is awesome. Apparently the Comanche is like one of the best planes ever, so I'm excited to fly it a little bit tonight and a bit tomorrow and learn it. Then we have the M500 and the TBM 850. Like, there's just so many good GA planes out. And then if you want to go faster, we have the Vision Jet, we have the Honda Jet. PC-12 is a banger. Short field, no problem. Yeah, I guess I haven't touched the PC-12 either. I don't know why I left it off the list. I think it's mainly just because a lot of the planes I've been getting lately have have more advanced systems in them, like failure and all that kind of stuff, which is not available in the PC-12 just yet. All right, we're at the top of the green arc here, 272 knots. Yeah, it's turned into a total IMC day. React is asking, are the Honda Envision Jet any good? Or are they reskinned CJ4s and Longitude? Well, the CJ4 and Longitude are much faster than the Vision Jet, but the Honda Jet is really fast. So in terms of speed, I would say like CJ4 and Longitude are the fastest. The Honda Jet's a close second, and the Vision Jet is a distant third. The Vision Jet is really good if you like turboprop, like if you like the TBM or the M500. The Vision Jet's going to give you similar speed, but it's just going to give you more. It's just like a more compact. You know, what is it like this? The rich person's personal jet, you know, kind of feeling. Like it's very like sleek and cool. It's got a G3000 in it as well. So it's up to you, like if you like the avionics in it. But I think it's pretty fun. It doesn't have any failures or anything like that though. And then the Honda Jet is basically that. It's by the same developer that made the Vision Jet, made the Honda Jet. And the Honda Jet is very similar. It's got a lot of automated things in it, like lights. It's pretty amazing. They're both really easy to operate. But it's a rocket ship. The thing is much faster. I think the ceiling in the Honda Jet's like 41,000 feet or something like that. And the Vision Jet's like 31,000 feet. So if you want something that goes really high and really fast, but it's that light jet size, get the Honda Jet. And if you want something more slow, like a TBM style, that still has good ceiling, like get up to 31,000 feet, then get the Vision Jet. But it's a bit slower. One engine versus two, but it's the same developer, so they'll be similar quality. There's a lot of really impressive automated stuff in the Honda Jet. Like all the lights are automated, which is pretty cool. But they're both like as simple as like flicking a few switches and pressing the engine start button. Then again, the CJ4 is also kind of that easy to get started too. Oh yeah, where's the next stop? We should probably check our descent here. It's probably coming up. All right, 3 minutes for our descent. So if you're following along and you have a G1000 and you're using VNav, then all you have to do at this point is roll your altitude selection down to the altitude you want to get to, or the altitude you want to let the autopilot get you to. In our case, we're going to let it go all the way down to 3,000 feet. We're probably not going to be clear of clouds, clear of the weather when we get down there, but I'm going to at least attempt to touch and go here as we make our turn to the west. We're flying by Cessna. The Cessna, what is the name of it actually? Cessna Aircraft Field and the Beach Factory Airport as well, right after it. Anyway, all you have to do is turn your altitude down to your target, 3,000. You know, this is separate from this. It's still going to pretend like we're going down to 3,000 for the flight path angle it's drawn, but we're giving the autopilot, we're not going to limit it to stopping at a certain altitude. We're going to let it go all the way down to 3,000. And then all you do is hit the VNav button. You'll get VPath shown here if you're on a G1000. And then once we hit our top of descent here in 2 minutes, it'll automatically pitch us down. We just need to pull throttle out. Oh yeah, so Cessna has north-south runway, and the Beach Factory also has pretty north-south runway. What do we like better, Cessnas or beaches? I mean, I would have to pick Cessnas. Maybe we can make this a, it's like we're taking an unofficial poll. If you like your beach crafts better, you'll do a go around at Beach Factory. You'll give it the honor of touching your wheels down on its runway. But if you prefer Cessna over beach, you're gonna touch your wheels down on the Cessna runway, which is the first one. So the one we're going to right now is Cessna. Right past it, 3 miles past it, is the Beach Factory, slightly to the east. Then we'll fly by that one. So you cast your vote by, you know, pay your respects by touching your wheels down on the plane manufacturer that you prefer. I'm gonna touch Cessna. Chris likes the beach spelled the traditional way. He likes the beach. It's sunny and warm. You want an official poll? All right, where are your wheels touching the ground? Cessna or beach? All right, there you go. You asked for it. Is it gonna let me? Is it gonna let me vote my own poll? Let's see. No, it's not. Oh my God, Cessna's taking a demanding lead, 92%. Sorry, King Air lovers. All right, we're starting our descent, so I'm pulling my throttle out. So if you armed VNAV, you should see V path. So I'm pulling out my throttle. Just watch your speed so you don't overspeed. Now, the downside to doing this is that we're not really setting up for a touch and go here, because we're going to get down to 3,000 feet instead of getting down to the airport elevation. So what I should really do is put in the airport elevation. This will make it so we're crossing the airport at 3,000 feet. But that's going to put us like 1,500 feet too high. So I'm going to go in here and modify mine and put the airport elevation. I'm actually going to put, yeah, I'll put the airport elevation of 1,300 feet instead. Hit enter. And then it's recalculating. And so it's going to descend much faster. I should have done that before.
Check gear.
And that's going to be a really fast rate of descent.
Gear.
So we'll see how it goes. We might need to do a 360 or something to lose some more altitude. So yeah, with VNAV, yeah, it's going to get us down. It would have gotten us down to 3,000 feet as we're crossing over the airfield. So we would have been way too high. So instead, I'm going to put the field elevation to make sure we get down there enough. Make sure we get down low enough. All right, Cessna's in a commanding lead with 82%. Sorry, Piper guys. We're not flying past the Piper airfield today, but you know, maybe it's in the future. I don't know. What I can only is I just assume, like, I mean, the second one here is called Beach Factory, and the first one is called the Cessna Aircraft Field, KCEA. Raccoon says, I'm usually a beach boy, but I gotta go Cessna tonight. Both Textron. Yeah, I guess it is the same company. It doesn't, but still, we still have a preference. It's fine. Riz says, have you taken any of the tutorials? Do you mean like the built-in flight training? Yeah, I mean, I would recommend to anybody who's brand new with Flight Sim, they should take those tutorials. Especially because everybody has different controllers set up, different peripherals. You might be on an Xbox with just a flight stick and a mouse or something, you know, and an Xbox controller, you might only have an Xbox controller. You might have only keyboard and mouse, which would be absolutely horrible to fly with like that. But, you know, mattering what your setup is, yeah, I think it's really important to take the tutorials if you're new, mainly because it's going to tell you where all your buttons are. You know, a YouTube tutorial would basically every single time have to be like, well, if you're on an Xbox controller, this is the default button. If you have a flight stick, these might be the default buttons. If you're on keyboard and mouse, then these might be the buttons. So yeah, I think it's really important for new people new to the sim, to do those, just to get a feel for where the buttons are, figure out their controls. Thanks, Ricky. Yeah, if you get into the G1000s, you want to an excessive amount of videos on every G1000 update that came out during its development. And you can look at my videos, but I don't really have any starter videos for just like how to take off. Thinking about it. Full power and pull the nose up, right? Oh yeah, React is asking how to, I know you guys already answered it, but how to customize the 4 corners on the GTN 750. Yeah, all the garments have a way to customize the data fields. I know this isn't the 750, but these 4 up here can also be customized. And the 430 and the 530, the default navigation screens or the map screens on those can also be customized. One of my favorite custom data fields to add is VSR, if it's available, because that will give you your vertical speed required if it has a VNav calculator. So you can easily keep an eye on whether you're descending too fast or not. So it'll tell you, it'll basically give you this number right here, this required vertical speed. So this is what the autopilot is using to pitch down and maintain this rate of descent for us. So this number would be showing up, say, on your tiny 530 or 430 or even your 750, which is a bit bigger, but it would be in the corner and you could just stare at this number. And because you're not using VNav in those planes, you just look at this and then you can just modify your vertical speed in feet per minute and follow that recommendation or try to be a little ahead of that recommendation. So it's really, really nice. I pretty much always do that when I'm flying a plane without VNav. But a plane that not only doesn't have VNav on the autopilot, but it has a VNav calculator. Riz says, where are we flying? Well, we're flying across the entire U.S., but right now we're about to pass by the Cessna and Beach airfields. We are almost into Colorado, I think. These are in, I think these are, did they say Kansas? I think the Beach one is in Wichita, right? Yeah. Beach Factory's in Wichita, and oh, so is Cessna as well. We're about to touch one of these 2 airfields, do a touch and go, and then we're going to turn to the west. Our next airport after that is going to be Great Bend. So it's about, we got an 87-mile leg coming up to Great Bend to the west. But we're just going to touch our feet down, say hello to our favorite, maybe not manufacturer, our favorite brand, I guess. I don't know how you describe it. Since as you guys pointed out, they're both Textron. Canada Shack, what's up? Alex says I use the 530 for VNav and the 850. Yeah, dude, I love the 530 and the 430. The 750 is so good though. I haven't used it all that much. Oh my god, there's so many runways in front of us. Which one is, I think it's this one right here. So to our left is not it. To our left looks like it is whatever IAB is. McConnell Air Force Base to our left with those 2 parallel runways. And then in front of us where Joule is at, I believe that's the Cessna factory. Oh no, Joule is over at Beach. Yeah, Cessna's right in front of us. Looks like Canada Shack and Felty Cheese are down on the field there. And then once we turn west, the next airport code is KGBD. We're going to go a little to the northeast, though, to either pay our respects or just fly over Beach. All right, so I can see the field right here. All right, I'm going to get autopilot off.
Check gear.
Turn to the right just a little bit.
Check gear.
And
Check
get this thing
gear.
slow down. 750 is a dream. I do like the 750. I need to get better at using it, but it is really cool. All right, airfield elevation, or the Cessna at least, field elevation is 1,370 feet. And if you see where Felty and Jewel are, they're on the field. Just give it a little touch of your wheels if you like Cessna. And if you think beach is cooler, because you like the beach, then just fly over this one. And then you're going to turn to the northeast. It's just in 3 miles over where React is, I think. And touch your wheels down over there. We're voting with our rubber. It sounds weird. Voting with the rubber on our wheels. Alright, get my flaps out. And this thing is so much faster than I've been flying on these flights recently with the 208. Guy in Pelican has to do a touch and go at its factory on Mars. We'll wait here for him. I'm sure it'll be quick though. Just a quick round trip. Man, no lighting here. We got a nice crosswind from the right here. So we got like 6 or 7 knots from the right, from the east. All right, gear is down 3 greens. Just gonna touch it with my wheels real quick. Just a little touch. It's more like a touch instead of a touch and go.
Check gear.
All right, now we're gonna turn a little bit to the right, go over to check out the beach factory. It's only 3 miles away. We'll be there in no time. Then after that, we're gonna make our way to the west towards Great Bend. Looks like the clouds have lifted a bit, like the ceilings seem a bit higher, so I think we can keep it low. Oh, it's really close. It's right here. Yeah, next waypoint is Great Bend. Kilo, Golf, Bravo, Delta. KGBD. GBD. All right, beach lovers, this is your place. It's a really long runway here too. You could touch down in midfield. I'm gonna do a little 360 around the beach field here. We can group up a little bit more and then we'll be on our way to Great Bend. 87 miles to Great Bend. If you want to program, we're just going to turn to the west. But if you want to program it in when you have a chance, it's GBD, KGBD. Just like how it sounds, Great Bend. Kilo, Golf, Bravo, Delta. I'm actually really excited to try out the Comanche. I'm gonna try it out after the stream, or maybe at the end of the workday tomorrow. See how it goes. I have a friend visiting tomorrow, coming down the coast, coming to Los Angeles to hang out.
airspeed, airspeed,
Uh-oh.
airspeed, airspeed.
Wait, why did
airspeed,
autopilot turn
airspeed,
on?
Airspeed, airspeed.
Probably just muscle memory. I just turned it on. I can't help myself. Alright, just gonna finish the world's longest 360. So you don't see any name tags? Make sure you're on USA East.
Airspeed, 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 airspeed.
God, this thing is just too fast. I hardly have any power. I feel like I have like 30% power. Just over speeding like crazy. All right, Belen, thanks for stopping by. Someday I will have a Tomcat and can see you in your full glorious Tomcat. Thanks for stopping by. All right. On our way to the west end, Great Bend, KGBD. Oh, P. Gatcombe, yep. Yeah, did he make like a full-on, like full 530 tutorial? Like the ones I have are generally like, hey, this is one feature. I don't have like an end-to-end. Here are all the features of the 530 exhaustively. All right, there we go. Back onto the route. It looks like we can stay around 3,000 feet. Yep, on the way to Great Bend, our safe altitude for this leg is 3,000. So no, have it on all players. If you have it on live, then it's only going to show people that are also... Or I think it only shows people that have live time of day and live weather. But especially during the week in the United States, like evening streams, it's always dark, so I roll mine back to daylight. But yeah, have it on all players. That'll just guarantee you see everybody. All right, so our new course is 294. We're on our way to Great Bend. I mean, at least the clouds are broken a little bit to our right. We can actually see some sun shining through. And let's see the weather at Great Bend. Broken at 6,000, overcast at 7,000. So, and only 5 miles of visibility in rain. Actually, is BR's Brian? Is BR Brian? Oh, let me look up. What does BR mean on a METAR? I almost never see that. METAR, BR meaning. Oh, it's mist. Sorry. BR means mist. So 5 nautical miles of visibility at Great Bend. Yeah, I don't know why BR means mist, but it does. I think is it RA or RN means rain? Yeah, it says mist is coded as BR, fog is FG, smoke is FU. Volcanic ash, VA. Widespread dust is DU. Sand, SA. Haze, HZ. I think rain is just RA. Alright, I'm going to get nav mode on. Autopilot back on. And then altitude hold mode. I'm going to bring myself up to 3,000 just for our minimum safe altitude. Vertical speed it up just because it's a short climb. Get my torque back in. See how you guys are doing back there. Oh, nice. Lots of lights. Holy crap. I'd say if you see volcanic ash, that should be FU. Yeah. It's appropriate. Yeah, we're like all on a perfect line. I mean, this is what happens when we use autopilot. All right, going to Great Bend. KGED, Golf Bravo Delta. If you want to get that in. It says 23 minutes. We got a little ways to go, but we'll see. We'll see how the weather looks. I'm not sure where the tops are. When we were in them before, they were around 13,000, but since we're down low now, I'm not sure. It looks like we're gonna run into some rain right here. Speaking of which, since we're a little lower, I think I could turn off my anti-ice. It's been on for a bit. Oh, fumar means smoking in Spanish. Maybe that's the FU reference. Yeah, I meant to look up the one for why BR. Oh yeah, why does the BR stand for mist? Oh, so for mist, I don't know about the volcanic ash, but according to Google, it says mist is BR because in French, mist is brume, B-R-U-M-E. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but it's B-R-U-M-E. So I guess that means mist in French. It's pretty cool. Did they give like every, a bunch of major countries in the aviation world a vote? Or they're like, hey, we'll be volcanic ash. You can be mist, but, they really want rain. We got 2 people contending for rain, so they're going to have a drinking contest between the 2 countries to determine who gets rain in their native tongue, in their native language. So apparently the French won mist during the competitions, the trials, as it were. Oh, react is at 10,000 feet. Top of descent's 30 miles out. You think your math is correct. Yeah, let me think of descent math. Ground speed, so you take how much altitude you need to lose. Say it's 10,000 feet. You take your ground speed and divide by 3. So 209 knots divided by 3, was that 210 roughly divided by 3 gives us 7 or 7D? Or sorry, not divided by 3. You take that divided by 60 to know how many minutes it takes per mile. So 60 knots is a mile a minute. So we're going like 3.5 miles per minute. So then we look at how long we have, like when do we want to get down? We have 64 miles. Say we want to get out 50 miles beforehand. 50 divided by 3.5 gives us like 14-ish. So it'll be 14 minutes until we need to start our descent. Actually, there's another thing we have to do is the rate of descent. Oh my God, there's so many things. I haven't done that in way too long. So 10,000 feet at 1,000 feet per minute, say 10 minutes to make the descent. Then we need to know how far out we need to start that descent. So if we're going 3.5 miles a minute, we can decide how many minutes it'll be until we want to be at the bottom of that descent, so that we know when to start the descent. The difference. There's an easier way though, right? It's just like it's like miles divided. Let me look it up. There is a really easy formula that I forget. Top of descent rule of thumb. Okay, 2 minutes for descent time for every 1,000. 2 minutes of descent for every 1,000 feet. But this has to matter which plane you're flying. So this is probably for like an airliner or something like that. So I'm guessing 2 minutes is based on a faster faster descent speed. 3 miles per minute. Altitude in thousands of feet times 3. For 30, if you're 30, wait, you're 30 miles out. But if you want to get to like that altitude, 10 minutes out. Altitude to lose times 3, yeah. Yeah, I think the way I usually do it is longer. Maybe it's more precise since it's not a rule of thumb, but yeah, ground speed. I know the rule of thumb for rate of descent is ground speed times 5 gives you a roughly 3-degree flight path angle down. So if we just do 200 times 5, then it's 1,000 feet per minute. That gives us our rate of descent. So if we're doing 1,000 feet per minute and we want to lose 10,000 feet, then obviously that'll take 10 minutes. So we know how long it'll take to do the descent. Then we need to figure out how far out from the destination we want to get to that altitude. So say it's 10 miles out and we have 50 miles left, so we have 40 miles to go, or somewhere along that 40-mile section, we have to start our descent. So then we have to know our ground speed in miles per minute, 3.5 miles a minute. I guess that's all we need is 3.5 miles a minute times how long out. So 35 miles out, we start our descent. I think I'm doing that last part wrong. My brain is not working. All those other numbers are correct. You just eyeball it. But we really need to know our ground speed during the rate of descent. Like, that's the most important thing, to know how many ground miles we're going to cover in the 10 minutes it's going to take us to do the descent. So in our case, in 10 minutes, 10 times 3.5, so that means 35. It's going to take us 35 miles to do the descent. That's it. So, right, 3.5 miles a minute at 210 knots, roughly. So then we know that, then that would put us at the airport. But if we want to be 10 miles more than that, then we just start it that many more miles before. So we would start at, like, 45 miles out at 1,000 feet per minute would take 35 miles ground. Anyway, that is a lot of math. The rule of thumb and VNAV calculator, so much nicer. I haven't had to do that in so long that my brain is like exploding trying to think of all those numbers in my head. You just got a nosedive. Yeah, that's another way to do it. Ricky says ground speed divided by 2 will give you rate of descent. Ground speed divided by 2? I do ground speed times 5 gives you a 3-degree rate of descent. So at 200 knots ground speed, that means we should descend at 1,000 feet per minute. What's the next level of donor on YouTube? Oh, for the memberships? No, it's just 99 cents. I don't offer anything for membership, so yeah, I just put in the 99-cent one. Nothing higher than that, Ricky, or Super Reactors. Yeah. If I was doing stuff like, private Garmin G1000, I'll watch you on an IFR flight once a month, like that kind of level of stuff. Like, I'm just not that. I just don't have those things going on, so I don't think there's the only value you get out of doing it is just like getting some emotes, But I appreciate the question, but yeah, I don't really have anything to give for a larger membership cost, so I just have it at the absolute minimum that YouTube allows. All right, so Great Bend, we are 42 miles away still. Yeah, I'm just keeping it these 3,000 feet. Get some rain going here. Temperature's dropped a little bit. It's 5 degrees outside. This is a totally different, this is just a change of pace compared to the last 6 days of flying. But I mean, it was bound to happen that we get a bad weather day. Will I try the PC-12? Yeah, when it has like failures and stuff and it's in the marketplace, I will try it. I just wasn't very excited about it when I was watching it. I was just like, yeah, it seems solid, but I have the M500, I have the 850. Why do I need the PC-12? And I know they don't have like failures and stuff, so I'd basically be getting less features than I have in the other planes. It does have a pretty unique looking cockpit though. Yeah, eventually I will give it a shot. I just picked up the Comanche though, right before the stream started. One of you guys on Discord said, oh my god, the Comanche's in the marketplace. And so I grabbed it really quick. So I will fly that probably later tonight. Yeah, these storms are awesome. It's nice doing both, right? Being above them for a bit and then being below and just checking them out from the ground. You get these awesome rays of light passing through the clouds too. Sunlight coming through, it's nice. Comanche stream tomorrow. I might do it on Saturday for the next leg for the Saturday stream. I have a guest coming tomorrow, so otherwise I might consider it. But yeah, on Saturday I probably will. If I get a few hours in it tomorrow night or tonight, maybe tomorrow I can, before a friend of mine comes to visit for the day. Yeah, I would love to. I'll also see how the altitude and stuff is. I don't know the capabilities of that plane, so I'm just thinking of it as like a slightly faster 172. No, React says on the exact opposite. I'll only buy it if it's on Just Flight or Orbex. Yeah, it's mainly from laziness. I just want everything to update in one place. Alex says, I'll probably be there. I love the Comanche. Feels exactly how my Discovery... Oh, awesome. That's really cool. I mean, that's good to know. I've never flown a real plane ever, so I don't have that kind of comparison I can make. But that's really cool. You think it's as good, like as accurate as the real one that you've flown. That's awesome. That's an endorsement right there. Oh my god, we're totally in the soup now. Cody's in an F-22, but I, of course, just see him in an Airbus. I really, really hope Flight Sim 2024 shows everybody's model of their plane, whatever they're flying. I mean, they should do it, like, it's a complete benefit to the company to let you see the plane that someone's flying, even if you don't own it. Because you're going to look at it and be like, oh my god, that plane is awesome. I want that. And then you see it say F-22. You just go search the marketplace. F-22. You're going to have to load a procedure here. Oh yeah, let's double check the weather. Jewel says we might need to go full IFR approach today. Luckily, we got some long runways, 4,600 feet, 7,800 feet. There's an ILS on 3.5. Winds are calm. Maybe we should load up the ILS for 3.5. Yeah, 5 miles of visibility in mist. Broken at 6,000. Overcast at 7,000. Altimeter is 3039. I'm going to update that now before we get there. 3039. At least we can... let's just line up for runway 35 then on 352. A 352 heading. So I won't load the whole procedure in. We can just go OBS mode. So I'm going to sync the heading bug straight ahead and then hit heading mode on my autopilot. I'm doing that because if I hit OBS, it's going to change the course and then start trying to follow that course right away. Now I'm going to hit OBS. And then I'm going to use the triangular course button here on the G1000 to dial in the runway heading right here, 352. All right, 352. We'll do a full stop here. We'll take a couple minutes break. All right, 352 for the runway heading. So now, let me put on relative terrain mode over here since we're just doing this randomly. All right, relative terrain mode on. There is some terrain to the west. So yellow means it's, I think it's, what is it, between 5,000 or 500 and 1,000 feet elevation difference. Yeah, this is a little sketchy. So I'm going to turn my heading directly to be perpendicular with the runway. And the airport elevation is 1,800. Yeah, 1,880 is the airport elevation. We can see the terrain right. I can see the terrain right in front of me right now. So I'm going to go down to 2,800 feet. And I'm going to re-engage nav mode so it will turn towards the runway when it's time and line me up. Since we have a precise runway course set in with OBS, it should be lined up pretty precisely with the runway. The main issue is the terrain, though. Can barely see it under us. We have a relative terrain map on the G1000, so if this turns red, I think it's actually red is within 500 feet or we're below the terrain. So when we see it turn red, we know it's 500 AGL. Or that we're 500 above it the moment it turns red. But I mean, it's all yellow right now, so I can probably descend a few hundred feet more. This is not the right way to do an approach in IMC. Alright, got a little bit of visibility here. React says it's not that easy to load models when not installed. You have to do some XML trickery. Oh, you've been able to do it? Load it as a low poly, map the coordinates of each vector to a list XML file, and then unmap that on the client. Oh my god, we just broke out of the clouds briefly. Or out of the mist, I guess. Maybe, is yellow 508? I thought yellow was 1,000 and above. I think I thought red was 500 or below. Or like, you're gonna impact the terrain. This doesn't feel like 1,000 feet above, though. Yeah, I think the other thing is, like, Microsoft has to also consider... I mean, they already kind of do it with the limited... what is it? Like, the livery... Or the traffic variance or whatever. How many different models they load in for performance reasons, so... Yeah, they'll need to make some low poly ones, some without interiors. Like, they don't need to be fully detailed. But at the same rate, though, like what they're doing now is making me load in basically the full model of whatever I own. So like I see the full fidelity TBM, the full fidelity. Thankfully, I'm in the M500. Full fidelity, you know, Vision Jet that's behind me, the Beach, the King Air, the DA62. All of those are loaded in full fidelity right now for me, right? So. That is the downside of how it is now. Like, it's already a performance hit. Probably way more so than it would be with a, like, exterior simplified model of it. Oh, just the tail number. Yeah, that would be good. They probably didn't do it for, like, people writing inappropriate things on it, but you're not going to see the tail number that often. Yeah, there's pretty good third-party model mapping. Yeah, it's just one of those things that, like... Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to configure more things that I need to, you know? And I want it to work the same way for everybody. What's up, Thomas? Yeah, we're landing at Great Bend. It's still in Kansas, right? KGBD... Great Bend, Kansas. We're landing on runway 35. It's got a heading of 352. And we're gonna do a full stop here. Ricky says, what's the difference between a straight visual approach versus vectors? You'll probably just want to choose the straight one. So you're talking about the G1000's visual approaches. They're a Garmin specific thing, so it's going to generate 2 waypoints to line you up with the runway. One is going to be called straight. That's going to basically be your turn on to final. And then one's going to be called final, which will be, I believe, 3 nautical miles from the threshold of the runway. So it's going to put those 2 waypoints for you, and you can do that at any runway in the entire world or in the database. It'll generate it. So it's not actually like an IFR procedure. It's not an official approach. It's just generated by the Garmin for guidance. But yeah, you'll want to just choose straight pretty much every time. Vectors is just going to draw a single line, kind of like how OBS mode is. It's going to draw one long line like this for you to line up with. But if you do the straight one, it'll even give you like a calculated altitude for the final fix, the final waypoint that it adds. Touch or stop, full stop, full stop. All right, I'm 2 miles on the cross track right here. I have nav mode turned on, so it's going to automatically turn me to line up with that runway. But yeah, the thing that's amazing about the G1000 with the visual approaches is that technically, because it works at every single runway in the entire database, it'll calculate it. The danger in using it is that like you shouldn't use it in IMC like this when you have low visibility, you don't have the terrain in sight. But in good visibility, it's pretty incredible because it will line you up pretty well with any runway in the entire database. So from a 1,000-foot, whatever, 1,500-foot grass strip to a 10,000-foot runway to major airport, it'll give you guidance to line up with that runway and give you an estimated altitude in there that you can use for VNav. So it's pretty incredible. Like that's kind of like just a really easy way to not really get into all of the IFR stuff and get into approach procedures and be able to line up with the runway. And it's basically what I'm doing right now with OBS mode, except the GPS is gonna, most of the time, I think, know the runway heading. So I see the lights right there. Looks like I am off by a few degrees. Did I put in 352? I put in 351, that's why. Let me put in 352. That's that 1 degree of being off this far out. That's what it looks like. All right, well, I'm gonna turn off autopilot, slow down, get my gear and my flaps
Check
down.
gear. Check gear.
All right, we're gonna do a full stop here, take a couple minutes for a break here. Winds are calm, they're reported calm, and they look pretty calm right now on my wind info there on the G1000. I'm a bit high. There we go, 2 whites. I want to see 2 white and 2 red on the Vazzies there. Just like the Pappies, but it's in like a square instead of a line. Actually, and these don't give you, they're a little less precise, right? Because there's only 3 states. 2 white, 2 red, or 1 of each. Whereas with the Pappies, you have 4 different states they can be in instead of 3. All right, looks like we turn off to the right here. Dude, do you see that? Do you see the effects coming out of the smoke? Dude, the smoke. Oh my God, that's part of the Got Friends stuff, isn't it? The effects. Yes, that's so cool. Dude, I've never seen that before. Wait, that's in the Got Friends pack, isn't it? All right, let me get off the runway here. Watch some of you guys land. That is so good. Hey, thanks for doing that sweet smoke on flyby. That was awesome. The smoking sign. Feel bad I don't see Cody's F-22. My God, look at the lineup. It's like it's like you guys all lined up perfectly to land with each other. Just one after another. Spatula's coming down. VTail, oh no, I was gonna say VTail Bonanza. It's the Vision Jet. Canada Shack down, the TBM 850. God's Own in the 930. Nice and smooth. All right, we got Hunterson, Cyber, Veerman, Dave, and Ruka all on the way in. Yeah, we're doing a full stop here, take a few minute break. Can refill beverages and all that stuff. Put some whiskey in your coffee, whatever you're doing. Sky condition, chicken noodle. Cyber with a bounce. Oh no, he's doing it on purpose. He's definitely doing that on purpose. Was that was the M500, right? That livery is pretty awesome. If you guys are just joining, we're at Great Bend, USA East multiplayer server. Do a few more legs after this one. There are a couple longer legs coming up, so next we're gonna go to Dodge City. That's 63 nautical miles, and then another 130-mile leg to Lamar Municipal. Oh, your first time flying it? Nice. Yeah, I had a little trouble getting the wheels on the ground. Oh, another Vision Jet. Dude, the Vision Jet looks so good. I know some people think it looks like an egg timer or whatever. I think it's just cool looking. All right, let me pull myself off the grass here. All right, Great Bend, if you want to join, I'm going to go AFK for like a minute or two, and then we'll be back. We'll depart on the same runway we landed on, and then we'll make our way over to, let's see the next waypoint, pull it up on the map, KDDC. Okay, this is Dodge City. Still in Kansas. See how the weather is over there. Oh, it's even worse. Wait, snow and mist? 200 feet overcast, and visibility is 1.5 miles. All right, we're gonna have to set up for a full like IFR flight over there. 200 feet AGL. I mean, that's at minimums on an ILS. There's an ILS for 1.4, and winds look good for 1.4. The Cat 3. So we'll definitely need to go IFR for this next leg. So I'll walk you guys through it if you haven't done it before, but we'll program it in. Won't be a big deal, especially if you have G1000. All right, couple minute break. I'll be right back. Everyone can go restroom, refill your stuff, whatever you're gonna do. See you back here in a minute. All right, I'm back. It's time. All right, let's set up this flight for IFR. We already have the waypoint in. So first thing I'm going to do is turn off OBS mode because I had that on. And I don't know what it's showing right now, but we need to go and make sure it's going to the right airport. So I'm going to go here on the flight plan screen and activate the leg to our next airport, to Dodge City. So I'm just going to highlight it and hit menu and then activate leg. There we go. So Great Bend to Dodge City. So this will be interesting because Dodge City is not set as our destination. So I'm actually curious what's going to happen here. Yeah, it's got Denver up here. So instead, I want to see what happens if I go up here and change this to Dodge City. KDDC. Because I'm guessing what's going to happen is we can activate the approach to jump down to the approach section of the flight plan, and I don't think it'll get rid of the rest of our en route waypoints. So then we can remove the approach and then go back up and use our other en route waypoints. But we'll see. Maybe we might need to clear the whole thing out and just do direct one to the next and load the other ones in afterwards. But I'm gonna do this as a test just because I'm really curious to see how it behaves. So, and I'm gonna select the ILS for runway 1. Was it? I thought it was 14. Oh, it's back on Denver here. I think it's ILS for 14. Let me change this again back to Dodge City, KDDC. The sim is freezing, but it's Kilo Delta Delta Charlie. And there we go. We have the ILS for 14. So I'll choose that. And then if we look at the initial approach fixes, we're coming from the northeast. So as we're scrolling through these, it'll show us a preview. And basically need to look to see where the runway is to figure out where the initial approach fix is. So this one, flak, is to the southwest of runway 14. EARP is to, it looks like it's to the east. It's over here behind the panel, behind the flight plan here. It looks like it's doing like a DME arc basically to go this direction and line up. So it may be that one, and then we have POCP, which is doing an arc from the west. So it looks like EARPP, EARP, is probably the best one. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose that. And then for minimums, I'm just gonna, just to simplify it, an ILS is usually 200 feet. We could look up, actually I'll just look them up for us. I'm gonna load up Navigraph real quick. You can go to the to SkyVector and look it up. Actually, I should just do that. Let me just go to SkyVector and look it up. All right, here we go. SkyVector. Then I just put in KDDC, Dodge City. I click on that. And then we just scroll down here and find the publicly available instrument approach procedure charts or approach plates. And we just click on the one for ILS 14. Here we go. And if we scroll down, we can find the minimums. 2786, straight in ILS for 14. So 2786, call it 2790 is our decision altitude. If you hold down shift, if you're on PC, hold down shift while you're doing this and rolling your mouse wheel. That's how you do it. It'll do it in double speed. What did I say? 2790? So say 2800. Takes a while. And I have it on RA, but I'm going to change that to Barrow. Alright, 2900 for the minimums, and then Barrow minimum. Oh no, it reset it! What was I thinking? Alright, 2900 feet. This is like changing the altitude for the selected altitude in the autopilot. Takes forever. 2900. It's only going to get worse as we go into higher and higher altitude airports. All right, then we have all of our, we have our initial approach fix. We have our An intercept. It's doing a DME arc right there. It's basically doing like a GPS programmed DME arc. And then final approach fix is Raven, and then missed approach point has a missed approach procedure, hold point, all that stuff. So we're just going to load this in. Actually, let's see. Instead of loading it, we really want to activate it because we don't have any waypoints between Great Bend and KDDC. So we might as well just go directly to the initial approach fix. So I'm just going to load that in. So let's see what we got here. Yep, so it's basically ignoring all of the en route waypoints that led up to where we're at. And now it's just drawing in, because it's already activated the approach, it's just drawing in a direct to that first waypoint. And then it does that DME arc using GPS and then lands on the runway. So, all right, it looks like it's going to work as expected. Now, if you're using other avionics, it should be very similar. If you're using a Garmin, there should be a proc button and all that. Raccoon's gonna switch planes. All right, we can wait a couple more minutes. Yeah, we have IFR, borderline low IFR conditions at the next airport, so it is an autopilot leg for sure. It's only 63 nautical miles. It'll be a little more than that with the procedure added in. Oh, the 850 does have VNAV? Or the GTN 750, you mean, does have VNAV? It also matters if the autopilot itself, the autopilot unit, has VNAV. Sometimes you'll have like a CAP 140 autopilot in the plane, even though you have a GTN 750, and it won't have VNAV on the CAP 140. So you have to have a more modern autopilot generally to be able to use VNAV. The TBM has VNAV, not the 750. Wait, what do you mean? How does the TBM have VNAV? You mean the 750 doesn't support VNAV, but the TBM's autopilot does? Let me make sure I'm configured for takeoff here. Let me check my fuel, actually. I was full fuel before. Oh, yeah, we got plenty. We're 2/3 full. Oh, the autopilot in the 850 doesn't have VNAV. Yeah, the 530 the 530 doesn't support VNAV either. I thought you were talking about the, well, it has, okay, yeah. The 530 has a VNAV button, but it's just a calculator. Yeah, it's got the calculator. I mean, that's good enough. Like, calculator is awesome. Not having that, like, the difference between the calculator and the autopilot having VNAV capability, to me, is not that much. Having the calculator is night and day better than not. Like, all that math I was trying to do earlier. And then what you can do, even in like the 530, is do that thing with the data field. Go to your map. Just hold clear to go to your default map, and you should have data in all four corners. And if you hit the menu button, you can decide what data it shows. So use the VNAV calculator, and then check the data fields and set one of them to VNAV speed required or vertical speed required, VSR. And then all you have to do is use vertical speed mode and just follow what it says your vertical speed should be for vertical speed required, because that's based off the VNAV calculation that you've done. It's awesome. It's a little bit more manual, of course. You have to, bump it up 100 feet or down 100 feet per minute here and there in vertical speed mode on the autopilot. But you're just essentially doing the work of changing the rate of descent. But yeah, I was really hoping it had VNAV though. You got me excited. Stop trolling me. Getting my hopes up. I haven't flown the 850 for a while, so. All right, hopefully you guys have everything in. If you don't, then good luck landing in like low IFR conditions at Dodge City. Good luck to you. I think we should get this going. I'm getting landing lights on. My pitot heat is on because it's raining and it's 4 degrees out, and it's gonna get colder when we climb. Oh, we should probably check what altitude we want to go to, right? We only have 63 miles or so. It'll be a little more than that. The minimum safe altitude on this leg is 4,000 feet, and our initial approach fix So it has some altitudes in here for our approach. So we have 4,600. So we need to be higher than that. And then if we look at the clouds reported here at Great Bend, if I can click it here on the VFR map. I cannot click it for some reason. To zoom in a lot sometimes to be able to... There we go. So the clouds right now reported, so rain, mist, broken at 3,700, overcast at 5,000. So we want to be over 5,000 feet. So we'll do over 5,000, and then we're heading west. So ideally we have an even number. So I think we should do like 6,500 or 8,500. I'll just start with 6,500. We'll see how we do. All right, so I'm going to get selected altitude over here. I'm using my Bravo. Spinning the wheel forever. Actually, it's not too bad. It's going to go up to 6,500 to hopefully just get over the clouds. And let me check the clouds reported at Dodge City as well, just to make sure we'll be above. Just, you know, split the difference. Or we'll take the maximum of the two. So Dodge City, they have overcast at 200. That's it. So yeah, I think we'll be good at 6,500. If we're not, we'll go up to 8,500. All right, updating the altimeter setting, 3037. And then I'm gonna get the autopilot ready for the climb. I'm gonna set heading mode. And then I'll sync that when we get on the runway. I'm gonna set vertical speed. So I'm gonna use a flight level change actually, and then set my climb speed to 140. All right, so we got heading mode, 140. And then we'll turn that on once we take off. Do some cloud skimming. Yeah. I think we'll be just above the clouds. It'll be good. Which leg is this? Yeah. Okay, Dave's got you. Yep, Great Bend to Dodge City. Dave said, is that the waypoint number on the plan? I don't know about the leg. Oh, 65. I'm not sure. I don't have the whole thing loaded in anymore, but we are on day 7. All right, so we're going to climb and get up to 6,500 feet. And I'm going to make my way over to the same runway. See if we have newly reported winds here or not. Let's see. Winds are still calm, so I'm just going to go back, use the same runway that we did before. All right, one IFR leg coming up. Alright, I'm just going to sync my heading bug. 176, so it'll be the opposite of that. What was it? 352, I think, was the runway heading. I'll put in 352 for now. We'll see when I turn around. Alright, this is... yeah, 63 nautical miles would be the direct to route. The direct to distance, but we're going to do a bit more than that. Just because of the procedure. Alright, landing light is on. Fuel pumps and ignition to manual. I already got pitot heat on because it's cold out. It's 4 degrees. I'll get lined up and sync our heading bug straight ahead. Oh, I was totally wrong. Wait, 295. Is this the same? Oh, this isn't the same runway we landed on, is it? Oh, this is 29. Yeah, we need to make a right turn still. And these runways, both the thresholds are like right next to each other. Need to take a right here. I think it was 352, right? Yeah, there's 35 right there. I was staring down here to line myself up with the runway instead of just looking in front of me with a billion planes ready to take off. I mean, the winds are calm, so it'll be fine. Unless you need more runway. All right, 352. We're at 354. I think it's more like 355 seems to be runway heading. All right, parking brake is off. Need to set my rudder trim to the right. Doing that real quick. 2 degrees should be good. Do 2.2. That's what it was before. All right, flaps are set and nose trim is set. Oh no, what am I doing? My camera. There we go. All right, and torque is almost set. All right, there we go. Torque's in the green. Top of the green arc. Looking for 85. There's 80. 85. All right, gears coming up. No more runway. Alright, flaps up. I'm going to make our turn all the way around to the left and get onto course. I'm going to hit nav mode. Autopilot's still off. Nav mode is already active though, because we're close to the course, but I still have autopilot completely off. Alright, left-hand turn. Just watching the instruments. Alright, I'm going to go about a 200 heading to get onto course. I'm going to go ahead and turn on autopilot now. There we go. I'm going to go up here and get my fuel pump set to auto. Alright, still climbing us. GPS mode is on, so it's taking us on a course. And we're going direct to a waypoint called Ear... What the heck? Ear Peepee. Direct Ear Peepee. Alright. Alright, turn it on to course now. Track is 230 to Ear. And we see nothing. So we'll see if we pop out of the clouds here in the next 1,000 feet. If not, I'll go up to 8,500 instead. What's up, Skytation? Oh, it's Earp, like Wyatt Earp. You know, that makes a lot of sense. I like Ear Peepee better. Oh, JJ says he's at 10,000 still in the clouds. Alright, let's keep going up. I don't know that we'll be able to go all that high, though, because it's a pretty short route here. It's 46 miles until our waypoint, but I'm going to put in 10,500. We'll see what happens. Yeah, they only report the bottom, so with no PyReps, we have no idea how high the clouds go. But this thing climbs really fast, so it's not a big deal. It doesn't take us very long to get up there. All right, let's try 12,500 maybe. The erect, the ear, and the toilet. Yeah, ERP makes a lot more sense, but... Hey, Carson, what's up? How much was my PC? Well, it matters if you count the monitor or not, but... I don't know, 3,000 to 4,000, something like that. I mean, I also have a lot of peripherals and stuff. It really matters what you count. But I mean, I recently upgraded it, so I have, I got a 4080, I got a 7800 X3D, I got some really fast DDR5 RAM, I got a new motherboard because of that, I got a, yeah, I got a lot of new things this year, so it's probably raised it quite a bit. My monitor is like a nice ultra-wide LG one I got years ago. It's cheaper now, but I paid a lot more for it then. So... But I think for like, if you're going like max high end, you're probably doing like, probably looking at 3,000 to, I don't know, $3,000 to $4,000 if you don't have anything. And then the components on top of that. But, you know, if you don't need the top of the line, then, you know, then you're going to save a lot of money. Basically built the new system around AM5. Yeah, I was using a 5900X, and the only way for me to get a lot more performance out of it was to finally up to AM5. Because I was still on DDR4 RAM. I really love my motherboard though, the one I had. The new one is great too. Mainly I just try to get ones that have a lot of USB ports, a lot of USB power, because I really don't want to use a hub. JJ says 20,000 to be completely out of the clouds. All right, looks like we're just flying IMC. Looks like we're just going to be in the soup then. We just took off from Great Bend. And we're headed over here to Dodge City now in Kansas. I think we'll probably do one more leg after Dodge City. The next leg is going to be 130 miles. How long has it been actually? It's been 2 hours. Actually, this might be the last leg for me. My girlfriend was on a trip, went to Europe with a couple of her girlfriends, and she's getting back in... Oh, hey, I'm kind of popping out a little bit here. Breaking out just a little bit at 12:05. Yeah, she's getting back in about an hour and a half, so it'd be good to be done before she gets back. And I think that 130-mile leg is going to be a little bit of a snoozer, so maybe we can start Saturday morning on that as I learn the Comanche a little bit better for Saturday. That would be pretty fun. React says I'm stubborn, holding out on an AM4. Yeah, it's just, I mean, if that works for you, it's fine. Like for me, before I upgraded to the AM5 architecture, I got a 4080 because for flight sim specifically, I was on a 3080. By going from a 3000 series to a 4000 series NVIDIA card, you will instantly double your frame rate in flight sim because of DLSS 3.2, is it? As soon as you get a 4000 series card, Microsoft Flight Simulator lets you use frame generation, so it's essentially doubling your frames. So that is the first upgrade I made before I did the rest. Alright, turning on our windshield anti-ice here. -6 degrees outside. Hope you guys have anti-ice. This is a gloomy day of flying here. Oh, Ricky says I started with a 1660 Super and now have a 4080. I also have a 4080. I love it. Even though NVIDIA are being big-time jerks and they will not send me a new one until I send this one back, I can't see sending this one back. Like, I use it every day. I do not... Can't have any downtime on my PC, so... I don't know when I'm going to get a new one. I'll probably have to wait until I get like the next gen in a year or two and then send it back. I have to send it back because they sent me a defective card. It's not a huge deal. It's still performing great. The problem is that the front fan is the only working fan, and I didn't notice it for a while. The rear fan does not work. It's never spun. And when I spin it with my finger, it's basically extremely hard to spin it. So there's something mechanically wrong with the rear fan that I didn't notice for a while. I just happened to notice it when I was replacing my motherboard. And NVIDIA's policy is that they will not send you a new card. They will, or at least they won't send you anything until they receive it. Unlike every company in the world, every product you ever buy from almost any good company, they will send you a new product right away and cross ship it, or even let you get the new one and then you send the old one back so you don't have downtime. NVIDIA does not do that. It's absolutely a horrible, horrible policy. Nice React says Star Citizen 322. There's no wipe. Man, I really want my buddy Mike, who's in chat, is gonna stream at some point. He's never streamed before, but he is all in stoked on Star Citizen. He's just super knowledgeable. He's the guy that helped me build my PC. I can't wait for him to start streaming because, yeah, and totally just shout out his new channel and see if you guys want to watch him. But he's into Star Citizen and Space Sims. We play it together. But yes, anyway, I do know that because he was telling me all about it. He said they did not wipe it, and it was like a 14 gigabyte patch or something. There's also, sorry to ramble about Star Citizen for a minute, guys, but I've been playing it in my spare time as well. I mean, if this is a flight simulator, Star Citizen is basically a space simulator. So you do a lot of manual things in Star Citizen. Like every little thing you're doing, you're going to be like repairing components of your ship. Anyway, they announced a bunch of good stuff coming out over the next 6 months. It's going to be great. It's really exciting to watch the development of it. All right, let's see how we're going here. Probably, okay, top of descent is not calculated until we pass ERP. Until we get past the ear PP, then we'll start our descent. 6 minutes and 47 seconds. So if you have VNAV, if you have VNAV in your autopilot, all you have to do is change down to, we're gonna go down to our lowest altitude in the approach, which is our final approach fix, 4,400 feet. So all I have to do is go over here, grab the altitude selection, take us all the way down to 4,400, which will take me a while, because this only does 100 feet at a time. So bring that all the way down to your bottom altitude. And VNAV is gonna automatically level us off at 4,600 and then automatically start descending again down to 4,400. So if you have like 10 different step downs you need to do, you can bring it all the way down to the bottom one and let VNAV do the work for you. It'll step down for each one over and over. Then just hit VNAV on your autopilot and you should get VPath enunciated on the G1000, so you're good to go. 4,400 feet, VPath. Now for those of you that are using like a 530, a 430, or a GTN 750, or anything with a VNAV calculator, you'll want to go into your VNAV calculator and you're going to want to put in 40, let's see, I would do the first altitude, calculate how when you have to descend to get down to 4,600 feet by that first waypoint. You'll be able to choose a waypoint and choose the altitude you want to get down to. So you do that, and then once you do that, it'll give you feet per minute, and that's how you know how fast to descend. Oh, Titanic says, good night, the fluffy clouds are making me sleepy. Yeah, no joke. It is very gloomy. My eyes are kind of glazing over as well. Call of Booty? Thanks for following on Twitch. We got one on Twitch. Thanks for the follow. Skytation says, I'm not going to play. The next thing you know, I'll build a spaceship. Dude, oh my god. Dude, Skytation, you won't believe some of the home cockpits that people build for Star Citizen. It's not, they're not building like the full like airframe and stuff like that around them that I've seen. But it's insane the amount of panels people set up for that game. And they're doing like the 2-stick, you know, HOSOS or HOSAS, HOSAS, hand on stick and stick. They do 2-stick configuration. It's crazy, man. I think you would love it, like nerd out on it. And then like, but just hide your wallet before you do it, of course. That's the rule for Star Citizen anyway, is hide your wallet. Buy the starter pack to get in if you want to play it. And don't pay for $1 more of anything, you know? Hey, Kobe, what's up? Simulators pushing it a bit. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, at least they have like somewhat realistic space aerodynamics and stuff, like or not aerodynamics, but what do you call that? The physics, like astrophysics. Like when you turn off coupling mode, you know you're moving independently of the way you're facing in space, and they're going to be introducing aerodynamics, like atmospheric flight. They're going to be doing a lot of work on that, so it should be cool. But I think that it's better to think about that game as a simulator, because people go in thinking they're going to be in all action all the time and it's just going to be nonstop fun. It's like, no, you need to like wake up, you get out of your bed, you need to drink food and eat water, go and buy every piece of ammo or the weapon you need. You need to call your ship and go take an elevator to the right hangar and then power it on and then take off. And like, it's like an hour before you even get into anything, you know? So in that way, it's kind of a simulator. Drink food and eat water. Oh, yeah, drink food and eat water. Exactly. They released new ships. Yeah, I think there are a couple new ships, or there was like a status video. Anyway, we can chat more about it on Discord and stuff if you want. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff coming. Yeah, happy you have your C2. Yeah, it's awesome that a bunch of you guys play Star Citizen too. I mean, me and my friend Mike just got into it like 2 months ago. And my buddy Turk, who I think he's still flying along, he's playing with us too. But it's been fun. Now let's double check our altimeter setting here. All right, 3004 is our current one. Top of descent's coming up in 1 minute and 40 seconds for me. So I'm just gonna double check. VPath is armed. Our lowest altitude is set, 4,400. That's matching the lowest altitude here on the approach. And this is the ILS for 1.4. So here's the plate. I'll pull the approach plate up again. So this is where we got our minimums from. So I know this isn't meant to be, this whole trek across the US is not meant to be IFR, but we kind of had to do it today. But this is where we got our minimums from. You can get these if you want to do IFR again in the future. Look up the approach plates. You can just get them from skyvector.com or the FAA. But anyway, this is where the procedure is. You can see it's basically doing a GPS version of a DME arc. So it's a 14 nautical mile arc. Based off the Dodge City VOR right here. It's actually it's like northwest of the field. So that's where that arc is based off of, and that brings us all the way around, and then we turn in for our final approach course of 146 for runway 14. This is where the altitudes come from that are in the Garmin. So you can see our final approach fix altitude here. And then we can also see along this part, it says 4,600. If we're not doing the procedure turn, which is a reversal. Won't worry about that for now. So that's where the 4,600 and the 4,400 altitudes come from. And we just need to make sure that when we cross Raven, that waypoint, we're at 4,400 feet. And that's when we'll be able to capture the glide slope down to the runway. And because we're flying into like low IFR conditions, or at least technically IFR, it said bottoms were reported at 200 feet, AGL. On the ATIS and METARs, when you get reported cloud levels, they're in AGL, right above the ground. So that's why we're looking at the 200 feet AGL as our minimum here. 200 feet above the ground. So we're pretty much bringing this down to minimums. All right, pull my throttle back because we started our descent.
Gear.
There we go. So 2786 is our barometric. That's the equivalent of our MSL minimum altitude. So that'll be roughly 200 feet above the ground. 2786, those are our minimums. So technically, I mean, because we're in a sim, we can do whatever we want. And because I think after this leg, we'll call it a night. We're going to land no matter what because we can. But in reality, if you didn't have a visual of the runway environment, so like the runway, leading runway lights, approach lighting system, the runway threshold, things like that. If you hit those minimums, you hit that minimum altitude and you still didn't see it, then you're supposed to go missed. You do a missed approach, which is also defined in that approach plate, like what to do, where to go, where to turn to, what altitude to climb to. But because we're in the sim, we can just say, you know, we're not going to do that. We're just going to land it no matter what for fun. But yeah, technically, if we didn't have the runway in sight at that minimum altitude, then we can't proceed down to the runway and land. Gotta go missed. Anyway, let's have some fun though. This whole the whole USA thing is meant to be VFR and just, you know, doing whatever we want, being silly sometimes and not planning too much, but at least today we'll get lined up and almost down to the runway because these clouds are insane. All right, so we're in the middle of the arc here. This is a GPS doing a DME arc for us. If you do it for real, like manually, it's pretty intense. You basically need to like keep turning your HSI 10 degrees at a time, then turning 10 degrees. It's like a twist 10, turn 10 strategy to keep within a certain DME distance on your DME reading from the VOR you're tuned into. But the NXI is a cheat code that makes everything super easy. So it's keeping us 14 DME from that VOR. Actually, if I want to check that out, I can tune into the VOR. Let's see, 108.2. Well, we got a minute here. So if I go to 108, actually, I'll do it on nav 2 because nav 1 is going to be used for our ILS. I go to 108.2 and tune that in. And down here, I can go and turn on a bearing needle for nav 2. It's perfectly doing it. Like we're 14 nautical miles away from that VOR. So if we look down here, the VOR is actually over here. It's not on the field. It's right here where that teal line is attached to. So that is where that arc is being drawn from. Like if you put the needle of your compass or needle of a what is a protractor? What am I talking about? What is the thing with the pencil? Is that called a compass? It is, right? Anyway, you put that there and you draw your line 14 DME out with a pencil right there. That's the line we're flying, 14 DME. So we can see there that the G1000 is accurately holding us 14 DME exactly on this arc. If we did it manually, we would waver in and out. You know, we'd see that go up to 14.2, 14.5. We would be turning to try to keep ourselves 14 DME from that arc. A lot more work.
Check gear.
So the M500 keeps saying that every time I go to idle to try to slow myself down. All right, so let me double check my gear and flaps. 168 for flaps 1 and gear down. My God, we broke out. See if I can see any lights behind me still. Not yet. You guys are all in the soup still. I can't even see any lights. Oh, I see a couple right there. Whose lights? That's those are Mike's lights. We got more lights down there. God's own lights are out. The realistic light mod is like one of the best. I feel like it's like almost as good as like the tree mod. It looks so good. Scottation says, I like the Rebel just going direct to the airport. This will be final destination, you're worried. The next leg is going to be 130 miles. So it's going to be a little boring, I think, and it's going to take us probably like 40 more minutes to do that one. And in the real world, my girlfriend just landed at the airport, so she'll probably be back in the next hour or so. So for me, I'm gonna call it a little shorter today than usual. We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in though. We made pretty good, let's see. So that'll give us a total today of 286 nautical miles today. So not too bad, chipping away at it. I think this weekend I'll probably do more of an extended one on Saturday. But if I'm flying the Comanche, I don't know, maybe I'll need to be in the M500 again for parts of it, just to try to knock some more miles off. All right, let's double check the METAR here at Dodge City. All right, still overcast at 200 feet. Rain, mist, 2.5 miles of visibility. Overcast at 200 feet AGL. 3029 on the altimeter. So let's get our altimeter to 3029 because we want to make sure with the correct altitudes. Especially at the final approach fix, we want it to be accurate, so. Realistic lights mod. Does it improve traffic lights? If by traffic you mean airplanes and not like street lights, traffic lights, then yes. Yeah, you can see they're a little like, yeah, they're just more realistic looking. It's something I found randomly in the marketplace a while back and installed it, and I like how they look. You can see they're just they got like more of a halo effect around them, and they dim out more at distances. And they're a little like blurrier, like the depth of field affects them a bit more. Or like just at the distance, they're just a bit blurrier. They look good. I like them. I forget how much it was though. It was probably like 10 bucks or something like that. Yori says, see you in the weekend. Awesome, yeah. On Saturday, I usually get started around 11, usually around 11 o'clock in the morning, California time. Sometimes at noon, it matters how late I was up the night before or how tired I am. I don't set an alarm for it or anything. Okay, so we're coming up to WeROM. This completes our DME arc, and then we're going to go straight to the final approach fix, Raven, dropping down to 4,400 feet. So we're at 46 right now. And you can see it's calculating another top of descent. And actually the next top of descent isn't until right before Raven. So instead of descending it like 50 feet per minute for these 12 miles, instead it's waiting to do the descent until we're at Raven. So we have 12 miles now in this straight segment right here. 12 miles, pretty long. And then 5 miles from the final approach fix to the runway threshold. All right, and actually my G1000 just switched over automatically to use localizer 1 for the ILS. So this is a good time to activate approach mode. Approach mode is not approach mode only means that we're going to capture the vertical guidance. It might as well be called like glide path mode or glide slope mode. So let me hit approach mode again. It's not turning on because I don't have the glide slope yet. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit until this doesn't say GS anymore. Then we're gonna be able to activate approach mode. This is gonna be a fun one. This is just, we're just right on top of these clouds. And I did slow down quite a bit. I'm like pretty slow, pretty early. But we do have like a good, what do I have, like 9 more miles? Still have 9 miles until the final approach fix. In general, it's a good idea to be like fully configured for landing at the final approach fix though. So I am gonna keep it slow. I'm gonna get my gear and my flaps down soon. At least I'm gonna get flaps 1 down right now. Daniel says, I don't want to be the first to land. I had to slow down. I think the wind is calm though, right? Oh, no, the winds are 120, I think. So we'll have a little bit of a crosswind from the left. But we're taking this down to minimums. 110 at 8, so it's 30 degrees to the left, 8 knots. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a crosswind here. That's usually reported, what is it, like 50 or 100 feet above the ground? I think it might be like 50 feet above the ground is where winds are measured. So yeah, on final, we're going to have 8 knots. So crosswind will probably be 4 or 5 knots-ish. Looks like right now I have a 3-knot crosswind. But we should be getting a crosswind from the left, pushing us to the right. We'll see what we get as we descend, or as we get closer. All right, so I have the glide slope in now. I can see the green diamond, green G, so now I can hit approach mode. Now we get GS enunciated up here, armed. Glide slope is armed and ready to go. So it's going to capture that ILS glide path or glide slope when this diamond gets to the middle. We are going to descend down to 4,400 feet before then, though. So I think technically it's better to descend to that final approach fix altitude before you actually capture the glide slope. But I'm just going to leave it on approach mode here. There is like a phenomenon where you like catch a false glide slope if you're higher, if you're at a higher altitude, but I'm not going to worry about that. And it's nothing like that is simulated in Microsoft Flight Sim, so we are good. All right. How many miles out are we? 3 miles from the final approach fix, so I'm going to get my gear down. And then I'm going to get slowed down to get full flaps out. All right, gears down, and then flaps here. 135 and 118 are the next 2 speeds. Those will be easier to get the flaps down when we start our descent. Or it'll be harder. It'll be a little harder, actually. What am I saying? Because once we're descending, we're gonna pick up speed. All right, I can get flaps 2 out now. 118 knots for full flaps. All right, 1 mile from the final approach fix. We have the glide slope diamond coming down. So we're expecting to see that turn to green soon. Sometimes, like in this case, because VNav wants to descend to Raven to 4,400 feet, sometimes the glide slope will be captured before you get down to that altitude anyway. I didn't even have VPath armed, so we have the glide slope a little early. All right, getting my full flaps down, so I don't have to worry about that again. All right, minimums are 2,900. They're actually a little below 2,900. But I'll go look at the approach plate again. They are 2786, so call it 2790. Sorry, it's 2,800 then. I put in 2,900. So I should actually change this. Let me go here. Oh no, I have to, what? I can't edit it. Sorry, 2,800, so 2,790. I put it in wrong. I put in 2,900. All right, we are on the glide slope. Gonna add a little power. Takes forever to put this in. I mean, this is what you have to do in real life, I guess. You have to turn this so much. All right, let's do 2790. There we go. All right, 2790 is in. We're at 4,060 right now. So if we were going to do a missed approach, we're not going to for the sake of time and just because trying to land at minimums or lower than minimums is kind of fun. If we had to do a missed approach, the instructions are on the approach plate here. Climb to 3,200 feet. So you just climb straight ahead to 3,200 feet and then a climbing left turn to 4,400 direct to the DDC 4 tack, which is right here northwest, or yeah, a little northwest of the field, the Dodge City 4 tack right here. And that's all programmed into our GPS. It's programmed into the Garmin. So if we need to do that, then we can either hit procedure and do activate missed approach. That'll be available after we cross the threshold of the runway. Or the easier way is over here, the OBS button will turn into a button that says suspend. And all you have to do is press the soft key under that. But since we're on the glide slope, what we should do is set our go around altitude or our missed approach altitude. So that altitude, the second part of it, is that climbing left turn to 4,400. But luckily for us, that's already what we had set. So we can just leave that in and sync our heading bug straight ahead. Crosswinds on final after autopilot disengage. Yeah, there should be a crosswind from our left according to the METAR. So we are seeing that here. 7, 8 knot crosswind. Probably be more like 5 knots when we get down there. All right, we're at 3160. We're not at minimums yet, and we have the approach lighting system right there. Have it in sight. We get down to our landing speed here. All right, we're at 3,000 feet. We can still go 200 feet more roughly, down to about 2,800 feet before minimums. But I already see the approach lighting system, so that's enough to continue. I can also see the threshold of the runway right now. Barely. But the approach lighting system is super helpful. There's 2,800. So we're still not at minimums. So the clouds lifted a bit more. 2,800, so that's minimums right there. All right, autopilot's off. We just watch that crosswind from our left. So we got 6, 7 knot crosswind from the left. Very bumpy. Alright, I'm gonna brake and just get off the grass, onto the grass. See if we can watch some of you guys come in through the clouds. It'll be awesome. Is everybody down? Oh my god, I think everybody's down. Yeah, everybody's down. Not a single person is still in the air. I think I didn't realize I was like at the back of the pack. I turned off the names for a while because I was the last one to land. Oh no. I slowed down quite a bit before that turned on to final. Well, that explains it, doesn't it? Whoops. I'm just gonna go watch everybody. Oh, you're last. Oh no. Alright, taxi light on, landing light off. Oh, I didn't put those into manual. You actually did the procedure correctly. I didn't realize a few of you landed, just went straight to the airport. I mean, it also matters what weather you have on too. If you have real-time weather on, then you're dealing with what I'm seeing here. Alright, I'm gonna get this thing shut down. I don't know why I always like to go through the checklist and shut it down. Not manually every time, but at least hit the autocomplete button. Alright, weather radar on standby. I think that's automatic. I didn't turn it on actually. Flaps I do have retracted already. Fully up. Look at all that pitch trim I needed. Or the autopilot used on final. It's still moving it. Oh, the autopilot was still on? Wait, no it wasn't. Wait, it was on. I don't know how it turned on again. I think I might have a double binding somewhere for autopilot because it seems to turn on randomly. Alright, shut down. I'm going to pull the mixture all the way out. Or the fuel condition lever to cut off. Fuel pump switch off. There we go. Check for the feather cast message. I don't know if I've ever seen it because this is always in the way. I think it just went away. Bam. Shutdown completed. And it's battery off. Looks like it is. We did it. All right, that was pretty good. We didn't do nearly as much as we did last flight, I don't think, miles wise. My God, we have such a big group. Always impressed with the turnout. Thanks guys for flying along. We've grown so much. It used to be just like, how many of us used to fly together? Like 5 or 10? It's awesome at being in such a huge group. It's also kind of ridiculous too when we're all coming at the exact same time. Oh, you went direct to the final approach fix. That makes sense. Hey, Liff, what's up? Do these GA group flights occur every Friday night, Saturday morning? So for me, I'm in California, so for me, it's every Tuesday and Thursday after the workday. So at 5:30 in the evening, local time. And then on Saturday, I'll probably do Saturday and Sunday this weekend again, just to get more miles going. So hopefully I'll see you guys for one or both of those on Saturday or Sunday. So thanks guys again for flying along. Yeah, Liff, if you want to fly along, the next one will be at least California time. It'll be Saturday morning around 11 a.m. A little late morning, early afternoon. But yeah, if you turn on the notifications on the YouTube channel, I'll give you like a 30-minute heads up, or you can just set a reminder or something. Oh, Kilgore's first group flight ever. Great fun. Awesome. Yeah, we haven't. This one was a little bit of a snooze fest just because the weather was so bad, but I really like using live weather all the time. It makes it just more random and fun and a little more real, so we don't just have clear skies the whole time. But hopefully we'll get into some better VFR or VMC conditions on Saturday so we can see each other and hand fly it. We've been hand flying it the whole time pretty much. I think that's only like the second day I've used autopilot so far, so yeah, it's pretty fun hand flying it, low altitudes, VFR. But yeah, we'll continue on into Colorado on Saturday. Our first leg is going to be like 130 nautical miles, so we'll probably be in similar planes. But maybe I'll load up the Comanche on Saturday too to check it out and embarrass myself in it. All right, guys, thanks so much. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Dave, Mike, Kilgore, Raccoon, Cyber Warrior, Thomas, Jewel, and Daniel. I see all you guys. Skytation, thanks for dropping by. Ricky. All right, guys, I'll see you guys on Saturday. Take it easy. I'll talk to you in Discord, and hope you have a good rest of the night or a great morning if you're in Australia or something like that. Take it easy, and see you then. See ya. Look at him. He's adorable.